Welcome back to Cards and Comics, guys. Today I have another 90s box break, and today we're doing 95 Donruss, and we're going to do both Series 1 and Series 2. And I usually don't do that, but I found a good deal on both series, and got them in the mail, and decided let's just do one video, and we'll do it. I might do, one row at a time, crack all of them, and that way we can get through it a little faster. But it'll be a fun video. I haven't done a box break in a while. Now, what's in 95 Donruss? Well, you got press proofs to 2000. Not really serial number. I think they just say out of 2000. You've got Diamond Kings, not numbered, 1 in 10 packs. We've got, because these are all hobby boxes, 36 count. I was hoping to find a magazine or jumbo box, but unfortunately I could not find on the open market. They're just harder to find. Diamond Kings, again, 1 in 10. We've got Elite Series and Series 1, 1 in 210. And then Long Ball Leaders, 1 in 24 packs. So we should get a couple Diamond Kings, a press proof, and a Long Ball Leader. In Series 2, we've got, again, press proofs to 2000. We've got Diamond Kings, 1 in 10. We've got the Elite Series. A little easier to get, 1 in 180 packs. So they probably printed less in Series 2 than Series 1. And then instead of Long Ball Leaders, we got Dominators. So let's step back, guys, and grab a little bit of drink. We're going to sit down and open up some fun 90s products. Just got back from my trip to San Diego to take part in a food safety conference, of which I was on the committee for food safety. This is a retail organization, so working with the major retailers on setting some agendas on how to improve food safety for retail grocery stores and suppliers. So very interesting conversation with big retailers like Walmart, Target, and the like. There we go. So we'll do a whole roll. This is what the packs look like. Series 1, they are, let's do the crack test. Nope, we don't hear any cracking, so that's a good sign. 12 cards a pack. This is Barry Bonds, and you can see that the pack color matches the box color, so it was designed to look like that. Sometimes in the 90s, you see like a whole, where the whole pack has gotten discolored, or they lost the color because of just time. And we'll go one row at a time, and we'll do all the packs at once. So we'll make this try to go a little faster. And we'll set it aside. Now, did I open this product in 95? I sure did. This would have been one of the transition products for me going to college. So for people who haven't been on the channel as much, I have kind of a gap in my collecting period when I was in college. So around 1994 is when I went to college. So, I graduated in 97. So, 93, 94 is when I went to college. So 95 sets would have been at a time when I really had no money to buy cards, and not something that I was really, I wasn't like, as interested, I guess, collecting at the time. At that time, really, I got into Magic the Gathering. I was playing with friends socially, so I was really not into collecting cards as much. Once I graduated, I got back into it. So, but there was like a lot of products from that 94 through 97 time period where I didn't really collect, so they were kind of I didn't open those products. And when I first got out of college, I didn't collect a lot of modern cards either. So there's even post 97 sets where I never really got to open a lot of products. So I don't have a lot of experience with those sets. 1999 was when I really got back into it hardcore with collecting actual sets. So we'll go through some cards here. Base design right here, 95. Pretty basic. You've got very hard to read nameplate here in silver. You've got an inset photo. You've got the position here. And in the back, you got, pretty nice back. Pretty common for the time. Only 3 years of stats. And, just some basic information about how they were acquired. And so it's just like a very basic set. This is like, even in 95, this set was still, a base set. So they try to upgrade it, honestly, but, Donruss is Donruss, right? It's never going to be, it was never going to be designed to be a high-end set. I think they tried, I think all the manufacturers tried to make all their base products more high-end because, again, they're competing with, it's funny to see Jamie Moore here because how long credit the guy had. He even looked old back in 95. But everyone was competing with Upper Deck. Upper Deck had really changed the game around base products. They made their base product look so good that a lot of people just said, look, we're going to have to up our game here or we're not going to be able to compete even on the base sets. And that's the best thing about it. I'm working on a video to show kind of like how many more, like the trajectory of like inserts and what years, we started to see like proliferation of like game use and autos and things like that. The inflection point. And you would think after, the first, inserts, because around 93, you got refractors, you got autographs. So it's like, you had inserts, Upper Deck, I believe in 91. Yeah, the Reggie Jackson auto. So it's like there was things there where people were, there was sort of like the blueprints were there. However, it wasn't until a little later than you expected, like, that 96, 97 time period when things really got crazy. So it took a little bit of years. Like, it wasn't like overnight. It wasn't like people were like, oh, like inserts, in terms of like inserts that people value today. Just like this product here, you'll see a lot of inserts, but they're going to be inserts of, like a lot of them are just, not numbered. They're just not what we end up later getting. Better design, better looking, everything. Just people, really up the game around 96, 97 time period. This is still sort of like pre-peak. And I think, cards got a lot better designed. Just a lot cooler cards came out after this year. But 95, I mean, in all years, because you go back to 93, 92, 91, there's always cool cards every year to collect. It's just how often we saw those cool cards became much more prevalent around 96, 97 time period. And that's just how it is. And then they kind of killed it. They just went way overboard. It's dominantly kind of cool. And then, when they go overboard, then things became overproduced, too many sets, too many inserts. Things became less cool because there was just so much of it. So, and that's sort of what happened. And even like I am looking at also into the first, 5 or 6 years in the 2000s, how did it trend? Because I do think that, that we switched from being a insert card commodity hobby to just being game use and autos at some point in a rookie card. So it was like, we had an idea where if you just inserted some cool cards, that was enough. And then it became really about rookies. And in 2001 with Bowman Chrome, it became about rookies. And then rookie Chrome autos, then RPA. RPAs really aren't a baseball thing. It's more of a football, basketball thing. But you definitely had Bowman Chrome autos became huge. 2001 with Pujols. So it's just like, the hobby really did change. And then it was either game use, autos, or, rookies drove the hobby. And still to this day, I would say big part of the hobby. And so Albert Bell, This guy haunts me because he's in so many insert sets I still need. Like, I need him in my Crusade set. I need him in my 1999 domed hollow from Stars and Steel. So, I mean, it's like every time I need a player in a set, it's always Albert Bell. So there's either a guy out there hoarding all the Albert Bells, like Cal Ripken Jr., or like, you know, no one liked him at the time and no one kept collecting him. I don't think that's true. I just think it's like there's always this weirdness about collecting where there's a guy who super collects to the point where like you can't find any of the players available for that guy. And then it's like, you know, some random player and you need him in a set. It's like, oh, this guy's got every copy. I'm like, what's going on? So I don't know if that's true, but I'm just saying like that. I've seen that in other sets where some guy has every copy of a card and you can't get any of them. Cal Ripken, and I don't enjoy like a Ripken where he's just like, you know, stealing or on base. It's just, yeah. Pedro. I think it's Pedro because he is, yeah, that's Pedro. You got Pedro and you got Ramon. This is Jerry Curl Pedro. And then this A-Rod card, I probably had 30 of these in my binder at one point. You know, like when A-Rod blew up, I was just like, oh, it's not his rookie, but it says rated rookie. And I came from a time period like 84 Donruss where rated rookie was just a huge card. Like, you know, rated rookies were like, you know, the pre-Bowman Chrome and Mike Piazza. So some good cards. But it's like before Bowman Chrome rookies and stuff, or, you know, Topps debut and all this other stuff where we recognize as rookie cards. Rated rookie was a big deal. Whoa. Here we go. Our first insert. Ruben Sierra. Okay. 1 in 10 packs. Diamond Kings. So we should see at least 3 of these. Yeah, Ruben Sierra with the A's. Very weird, honestly, to see that combination. And then right behind him is a press proof. So who's this guy? It's hard to read. 1 of 2000 printed. And we've got, who is this guy? So instead of the name, they like the regular ones, they replaced it. So we've got, I think it's Billy Service. Man, it's so hard to read the names. So it's Billy Spires. So sorry. So Billy Spires, and nice looking cards. You know, one, and the good thing about these is like they've never really spiked. You know, obviously not really being serial numbered. Even the Griffies, you know, stuff have never really gotten that expensive. But in PSA 10, anything is expensive right now for Griffey. So obviously, you know, that card is probably pretty hard to get. These cards are condition sensitive. They're full bleed, easy to chip. So yeah, the back-to-back, and I do remember that sort of in the 90s. In this set was you would get back-to-back inserts sometimes. Al Martin. But yeah, so like another rated rookie. So as a kid, I would pull all the rated rookies and keep them. That was just how you did things back in the day. So that's 1/4 of the box. So we'll get the next part of the box out. So we'll get this stack right here, upper right, and we'll do it again. Get all the cards into one little pile. So we're gonna have a lot of cards. So one thing back in the day, you got a lot of cards. I mean, you're getting like 438 cards or something in the box. It's a lot of cards. You know, nowadays, like where you get cards, where you get a box of cards with one card in it, compared to, you know, 438. There is a happy medium somewhere in there, I think. Yeah, I mean, card count was a big deal when I was a kid with my dad. You know, opening things like 88 tops, you know, like you thought such a good value, you know, you get so many cards. Like getting base cards was, you know, a big deal because you were trying to put the set together. You know, I think by 95, honestly, like, I remember as a kid, like, the last sets I really wanted to put together was, like, 91 Stadium Club. You know, that set was so cool, so revolutionary. But, you know, after that, you know, 90 Leaf, 91 Stadium Club, 89 Upper Deck, it just was like, 91 Upper Deck really destroyed set collecting to me, because I think that's like a huge, like 800 card set or something. And then even tops, you had, the proliferation of, you could just buy the full sets, and it just, it really, the last time I really had this urge to put a full set together was around 91 in Stadium Club. So 95 Donruss rolled around. I'm for sure not trying to build this set. I'm like, I remember, opening these packs and just getting the cards and, just keeping the cool, the ones I thought were cool. And, I'm pretty sure that a lot of these cards just ended up in the trash. And a lot of collectors, that's what they did. There wasn't a lot of people in 95 building this set. And I hate to say it, but like, it was, a lot of older collectors, loved Mike Messina, loved, the set collecting aspect. And I think, my generation was the one that really, didn't care about building sets after a certain point, because when the only thing that was valuable, because you could just go out and buy a complete set, if you, just from the manufacturer. The only thing that was valuable was the insert cards, and you couldn't get those in the complete set. So, Ozzie Smith, always love seeing the late year Ozzie cards. Hey, there's my first card I'll keep. Base, there's Frank Thomas. So yeah, I think we were the generation that broke it. And which is kind of funny, because we're the generation that's going back and trying to, super collect players and getting, I'm putting, 90s insert sets together, not base sets, but insert sets. And so, like, we're going to be more likely to set collect than any modern, like anybody from this new generation. But it's still like, we were the one that really probably broke base set collecting, just didn't care about it, didn't, want to sit down and collate 4,000 cards to build a set. It was not very fun to open a full box of cards and still, because of terrible collation, and still be missing like in a 600 card set, you get like 5 boxes in and you're still missing 20 cards, and you open up 2,000 cards and you're still missing 20. It's just, and that's what it was like. Anyone who remembers that time period knows that, building base sets was, it was a lot of work, and in reality, you could just buy the whole thing for a lot of these sets. Now there's a lot of sets you couldn't buy, but still no one, like Crown. I remember the Crown collection, the Crown Royal set with the die cuts. That thing was crazy fun. It looks like, every card looked like an insert. So I remember, like, I'd open packs and keep every card, because they just looked like they looked like some of the coolest inserts ever. Here we go. Jeff Conine, another one of these Diamond Kings. And let's look at the Diamond King design. Looks like there's a little ding on the corner here, which is not fun. It's very 90s. It's painted by Dick Perez. He's using a lot of purples and oranges. Even on the first one, it's very, purple, orange. It's a bold design, but it doesn't look like classic Dick Perez. So it's like, it's okay. And again, these are not the big inserts. These aren't like the elites, which I don't think I've ever pulled elite out of a pack, like the traditional elites. You can open up the elite set itself, and it's just like I've always had this thing of, like, I've never pulled a Crusade card out of anything in 98. I've opened a few boxes in 98 and have never pulled anything, any Crusade. So. Now, I pulled, a lot of different inserts. I pulled atomic refractors out of 98 Bowman. I pulled multiple atomics out of 98 Bowman. I pulled game jerseys out of 99 Upper Deck, or 98 Upper Deck second year game jerseys. So it's like, I've opened up a lot of product, and I've opened, and I got a lot of the cool inserts, but man, it's not as easy to pull elites. Elites have always been tough for me. And I know guys who open cases of this stuff looking for elites, and that was the thing. Like, I remember a few sets like that. You got the what was it, 94's score product with the manual autos. You've got oh, there's something cool in this pack. I'll have to be careful with it on the way out because looks like there's something cool in here. So that's a cool pack. But yeah, like there's just like something about opening. Like I remember the Mano autos that came out and scored. It's just like I knew people who opened up case after case after case trying to get those cards. And I remember that the same way for the first couple years of elites, especially that was 91, 92, 93, those first couple years. There was a lot of people who really tried to get those cards. Like they were hell-bent that they were going to pull those cards. And I if you think about it, like there was not much competition in those time periods for cool cards. So that Ripken auto, Brian Sandberg auto, I mean, you just had some really cool cards, honestly, to try to pull. Because, compared to everything else that was out at the time, there was just so much cool stuff. That was super difficult to pull, but, it was, at the time, it seemed like it was worth the risk of opening 10 cases to get maybe one or two of those kind of cards. All right, so we know we got some insert here. We don't know what it is. So we'll keep going through here. This is like 3/4 of the way to the box. I think we got another. Nope. It's Tim. I think it's Tim Raines. Yeah, it's Tim Raines. So I'm not really looking at the rated rookies because I don't think there is a single rookie in this set worth anything. If I go to my trusty baseball cardpedia, it says about rookies. They talked about super packs. You could get only in jumbo. So I was trying to find jumbo, so you get a chance at a super pack where you get all inserts, where you could pull a full and elite set out of one pack, which would have been amazing. It doesn't really show that there's any rookies in here, so yeah, so it's really just an insert or bust type product. But it's a lot of cards in the set. It's 550 cards. So, all right, I think we're gonna pull something here. It's the long ball leader. It's Jeff Bagwell. These are pretty. So long ball leaders were 1 in 24 packs. So this is pretty much one in every box, and you got a chance, 50-50 chance of pulling a second one. So every box and a half, you get one of these cards. I remember these as a kid. They were really nice. I think there is a Griffey here. If I go down, and you would think that there's a Griffey in almost every one of these sets. Sometimes there's not. That's the one thing that I always found really interesting was, there'd be sets where you're just like, oh, there's got to be a Griffey, and then there's not. Hold on, I'm looking. But yeah, like this is definitely a cool looking card, and I do feel like this is showing some of the changes in how these cards look and how they've evolved over time. So long ball leaders, card 3 is Griffey, so there we go. So we have card 8, Jeff Bagwell. So again, nice card. Love it, very shiny. So we hit something, so that's good. You never want to get skunked on a box, and and we've all been there. The 90s were rough on getting skunked. That was something you could do very easily. these kind of products. So there's the Barry Bonds. So it's a base Bonds. Very cool. So we've hit the base Bonds and the base Thomas. The Griffey, I haven't looked at the number, but I'm assuming he's going to be in Series 2. Frank Thomas is in Series 1. Again, that's the common way they would do things. So you couldn't just buy one series and get both the big superstars. You had to buy both series. Again, this is pre-Derek Jeter. Even though he had rookie cards before this, I don't think he was in any sets until '96 and Donruss, but could be wrong. I don't think there's a Jeter in this product because we just saw A-Rod. So here we go. But yeah, a lot of there's something else shiny in here. So 2 shiny cards. We'll see what the second one is. There are some stickiness on this side of the box. So we'll see what we got here. It looks like another long ball leader, which is kind of cool. We'll see. It is. It's a long ball leader, and it is. Whoa! We got some. We got almost. Did we get a hot pack? I think we may have hit a hot pack, guys. Look. I got Jeff Bagwell, Barry Bonds. Holy crap. Jose Canseco. We're going to get the Griffey. Here is Mike Piazza. Holy man. Matt Williams. Oh, there it is. We got the full set. We got all 8. Wow, that is crazy. That's crazy, guys. There's Fred McGriff, and then on the back here, upside down, is the Frank Thomas. Look at that. Get the full set. Pretty sure that's all 8. So we got 2 Bagwells, but 1, 2 Bagwells, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's like, yeah, that's insane, guys. I would never, yeah, that's not one of them. So the full set. That supposedly, yeah, like, so let's go up and just see what Cardpedia says about this. It says, for the first time ever, you could get super packs that contain full insert sets and hot packs exclusive to all Series 2 packs. 2-pack that contain a full set of elites. Both were reserved of Insert Mania, blah, blah, blah. But, wow, I never thought I would get a full set of inserts in one. Yeah, that is really cool. So, yeah, got the Jose Canseco. Well, I'll just put these in a little, yeah, because we got the full set. So I can review this set now because it's part of my, I own it. So that's really cool. Yeah, I know they're not worth, I mean, obviously, we said it before, if the Griffey graded a 10, you could have, something there. But yeah, that is wild. That, yeah. Because as a kid, I mean, think about it, as a kid opening that and getting that full set, you would have been just like freaking ecstatic. You'd have been over the moon getting that full set. Now, yes, we all want the elite set, but I would have been greedy. This would have been very happy as a kid. So I mean, there is no idea how. It doesn't give you any odds for super packs, and but the fact that I got the Griffey just is pretty awesome. Because I'm pretty sure this is not a Griffey I own. A lot of these mid-90s kind of like less than 1 per box Griffey inserts, I'm still missing quite a bit of them because there's just so many. You know, he's in, like I said before, he's almost in every set. So, you know, I have I have like 4 boxes of Griffey cards, and there's still many cards I don't own. You know, and it bums me out too, because sometimes a card will pop, like 97 Thunderclap just popped. You know, got really popular and started to really go up in price, and I don't own it. For whatever reason, that's one of the few ones I don't own. I have the 99, I've got the 99, or the 98, the 99. So it's like, why don't I have the one that everyone loves? I don't know. But I just don't. So it's cool to get, you know, this card. Now I have, and they're very nice. And the one thing about these that's really cool is you got both shininess and gold full stamping. So they were definitely trying to make the cards look nice. So you can't really complain about, you know, this design. You know, they were definitely making an effort here. Whether or not, you know, it causes these, you know, this kind of card to be worth a lot of money. They're not numbered. They're still pretty easy to get in 90s terms. One every box, or you get 2 every box and a half. So common enough that, you know, you could have, you know, they're easy to get, but still a nice looking card. And but yeah, we'll go through the full set. We'll put it in order. So Bagwell is actually number 8, so that's easy. Thomas is 1, Griffey is 3, who is that? Fred McGriff is 2, Griffey's 3, Matt Williams is 4, Piazza's 5, Canseco's 6, and Bonds is 7. So here's the full set. We start with Frank Thomas. We go to Fred McGriff, Ken Griffey Jr., Matt Williams, Mike Piazza, Jose Canseco, Barry Bonds, Jeff Bagwell, and Jeff Bagwell. So no matter how this box or the next box goes, this was great. You know, this is like something you don't expect to happen when you open a product like this, is to get a full insert set out of a box. So, you know, no matter what happens the rest of the way, this was a really good box break. You know, you got to be happy with getting your player, the full set. Again, I can do that now. I can do this as a review. I don't have to buy it, because I usually buy full sets, and then I'll do my insert set reviews on full sets. So now I got the full set, because I just like showing off the cards. I'm part of the set videos I do are to showcase the cards, not just to be like, oh, you know, here's a set that I like. That's part of it, but most of it's like, here's the set I like, and here is a bunch of cards, or here's the full set, so you can see all the cards. And then if you wanted to collect it, you would know what all the cards look like, and you can make a good informed choice. A lot of people do kind of insert set reviews or do reviews in general, and they don't own any of the cards. They just show photos, or they own like one card. They don't, you know, they have the big card from the set, and they go, oh, here is, you know, I've got the Griffey, but, you know, I don't own any of the, you know, the other cards. And I just think it's cooler, you know, maybe it's just me, to do a review if you actually own the full set. So here is the last pack. So that came, so just so from a quadrant perspective, anyone who wanted to, you know, look at like, oh, where did that super pack come from? It came from the lower right. So the lower right quadrant is where that pack was. So here is the bottom left, the last packs here. So we'll open them up, and we'll go through them. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to go through 90s box breaks. And as I post a video, I might break it up in 2 videos. We'll see how it goes, or just keep it one long video. It's hard to do these, you know, super duper fast. All right, last section of the box. Here we go. Now I've had people like complain on my videos like, oh, I'm not showing me busting out the cards or, you know, whatever. I'm like, you know, this is not. I do these breaks not for other people, but they're for me. And if I really wanted to, you know, I don't think I'm gonna. Sorry, Diamond King, Kenny Lofton. So that's our 3rd Diamond King, which is a little bit above average. But if I really wanted to show off or brag about hitting something, I don't think pulling a full, you know, like the entire insert set of long ball leaders would be the way I would do it. Honestly, I mean, so I've had people like, hey, you know, like you're not opening the packs on camera, and you know, and they're kind of holding me to like the breaker standards, and I get that a little bit, but it's just a personal break. Some of the stuff is just, you know, it's very honestly like, you know, like this kind of product doesn't have a lot of hits in it, so I don't want to go through and, you know, take a lot of time to show me opening every pack, and, you know, because again, no one else is getting these cards but me. So I don't know who I'm trying to, you know, prove I'm not scamming someone, because it's just me. And yeah, this last quadrant definitely is a lot quieter. So we'll see if that, you know, it'd be cool to do a whole case, even though I would never want to do a whole case. But just to see like if the hits are like in the same quadrant, if they can be mapped. I've always heard stories that, you know, products like this were mapped by dealers, and they could, you know, basically open a box, put it on the shelf, and then go and pull the hits. And you were just left with nothing. I've heard that with 899 Protect Griffies, you know, like you can map where they are in the box or the case. Which is kind of a bummer, because it just means that like there's, you know, so many boxes out there where someone's, you know, messed with, you know, and messed with it in the 90s, you know, like nothing except for a Diamond King in that whole stack. So that's kind of disappointing. But there it is. That is box series 1. So pretty awesome series 1 box. I mean, I don't think you're going to, you know, I mean, besides getting the elites, that you're, you know, hitting something more rare than the full insert set was pretty awesome. I never even expected to do that. So feel pretty cool. Pulled 2 base cards, Bonds and Frank, and then Bill Spire is my gold, my press proof. 3 Diamond Kings, Lofton, Conite, and Ruben Sierra. I did not pull an elite, but I did get the full insert set of Longbow leaders, including the Thomas, the Griffey, the Bonds, and yeah, just out of 1 pack. So I pulled the entire set. That was a hot pack back in the day. That was something you could do, was pull a hot pack, and I did. So pretty awesome. So we'll move on to Series 2. And we'll see, we'll get the Series 1 out of the way. So Series 2 next. So we'll see if we can duplicate some Series 1 success. And here we go. Oh. All right, there we go. This film sometimes is really weird. It's so thin, but then it's like it's hard to even get a hold of. It's almost like it's gotten so paper thin. It just wants to fall apart versus rip in your hand. So it's like a really weird sensory experience. Sometimes it's just stuck to the box too. I've had some that were just like almost melted to the box. So yeah. It wants to stick to everything, so there we go. So move the cards on the way. From Series 1, so here's Series 2. Again, go from blue to red. So we'll do it again. We'll get the whole quarter. Open a pack and see what we got. One. These are ripping a little differently. So, whereas the other ones were just opening, kind of like just opening like a clam. These are ripping down the middle. I see that this one did a little bit like pack 1. So we'll see. Will we get the full? There. See how that one ripped down the middle? Interesting. That's the Griffey right there. Just so, right there. There's the Griffey. So we know we're going to get the Griffey base card. So we hit all 3 major base cards. I love that. If I want to open a box, I like to get all the cool base cards. And multiples of Griffey base cards. Because you'd be surprised how many people like at card shows will pay $4 or $5 just for a Griffey 90s base card. Even if it's from a set like this where, you know, it's theoretically not that rare. So yeah. Again, during the editing, I might edit out some of the pack opening here because this is not the fun part of the video. It takes a little bit of time to open everything up and look at it, and I don't think anyone enjoys looking at somebody opening packs ready to sort. But here we go. Top left row. Here we go. What do we got? They're not stuck together. There's Doug Drabeck, Jim Abbott. It's weird you see these guys and you're like, and the 90s guys I just know by face. And I feel sad today because on modern baseball card or modern baseball players I don't know like I did when I was a kid in the 90s. You know who each of these guys were just by, you know, facial recognition. Like Eckersley. I mean, you could just see him. You're like, oh, that's Eckersley. It's not Ivan Rodriguez. And I PC Ivan Rodriguez a little bit. I have probably like 20 or 30 of his cards that are really good. Oh, here we go. It says Kirby Puckett. That's a good one. Like that. Yeah, Puckett's one of those really... Oh, Bob Walk. Or Zane Smith, sorry. And get the 2 ugly pitchers from Pittsburgh mixed up a little bit there. I have 3 Pirates in a row. Look at that. Is that Dan Maselli? Oh my gosh. Kevin Young. All right. But yeah, like this is definitely like the last row we just opened on box 1. Pretty bare. Only 1 insert so far. We'll see. We didn't get much in box 1 until we hit that full hot pack and got the entire long ball leader set, which, you know, pretty cool. The one thing I'm trying to make sure I don't miss is the artist proof card because they are pretty easy to miss. There's the Griffey. We saw it earlier. We knew it was in there. Just waiting for someone to come back to it and unearth it. Maddox. So yeah, interesting product. I think there might be an insert right here. There might be an insert coming up. Here we go. Remove protective peel. So here is Dominators. It's Robin Ventura, Fryman, and Matt Williams. So I'm assuming third baseman. So wow, we had a protector to remove. So that's kind of cool. So 2 inserts, and that the Dominators, I believe, was like the long ball leaders, like a 1 per pack. Yeah, 1 per box. Sorry, or 1 in a box. 2 in every box and a half, so 1 in 24. So that's the kind of insert we got the full set of in our hot pack last time. So will it happen again? Will we get the elite? I want to pull an elite. That is my number 1 goal. It's just to pull an elite, just to say I did it. From a still pretty tough pull. Elites got easier and easier to pull over the years. I just think that is like insert proliferation 101. They were just like, well, that's the card they want. We'll just make it a little easier every year, you know, or print more and more, either one. So still like the old-fashioned way. I don't think it was saving us a lot more time. Wagner, Pirates. So yeah, it's like you can definitely tell in these products where you're gonna get an insert. It's it's like that card difference really pops out when you're kind of opening the pack. You can be, oh, there's something definitely in this one. Just kind of sticks out there. Pretty simple. Let's see. I'm trying not to miss a card because you never know like which one's going to be the artist proof, which are going to be very similar looking to the base. So you can't just like blow by everything and be like, oh, you never know which one is. Oh, there's another Griffey. Here we go. 2 Griffey base. Should be getting some more Diamond Kings as well, at least 2 more. Alright. Pack was nothing. Yeah, it's seeing a lot of dupes as well. It was a shorter set, 220 cards versus 330. So that probably seems like a sheet or something. Like they cut back a sheet when they printed it. You know, the wildest thing would be is to get a Griffey artist proof. That'd be wild. Could you imagine getting a full artist proof set of a box? You know, like they said, like, oh, you get a full insert set. It was like the artist proofs. So every pack had like a full, was just full of artist proofs. So the checklist always fool me because they look a little different. So we're almost halfway through the box and we've hit I think 2 inserts total. So here's hoping there's something in the remainder. Maybe we'll go back to the old way of doing it. Oh, Diamond King checklist. That's a big boo. There's Dick Perez. Look at that guy. Wow. All right. That kind of bummer. And then, my artist proof is Doug Drabeck. Former Pirate Cy Young Award winner. Then left. Made a bunch of money and never really had another amazing year. I think he had a couple of decent years, but I think he was out of baseball within 5 years of that Cy Young Award. I think he never really had a season like that again. So it's very interesting how that happens, where you just go from, because I mean before the Cy Young year he was good. Like, Drabeck had a lot of good years. Then he kind of went off and had the big year, and then okay, here's the lower right. This is where we found the big hit last time. But yeah, Drabeck, he just got the money, went to Houston, and never really did much after that. Was never I don't think he was an all-star. Maybe once he was an all-star. Whoa, wow. 2 pressers, and this was a good one. I mean, he'll never make the Hall of Fame because it's just, what's happening. But Manny Ramirez, that's pretty sweet. I like that one a lot. That's really cool. So that makes up a little bit for Drabeck, even though, I'm not overly mad I got Drabeck. I mean, he did pitch, on the best Pirates team in my memory. And won the Cy Young, so that's cool. But yeah, I was in a card shop in San Diego, downtown San Diego, and it was so messy, so hard to get around. But the guy had an autographed Doug Drabeck jersey there. He was trying to sell me because he asked me who I liked. I'm like, I'm a Pirates fan, and he's like, oh, I got a Drabeck jersey. I'm like, yeah, he's not my dude anymore. Maybe as a kid, I definitely was a big Drabeck fan until he left the Pirates. But it was just interesting that card store in San Diego was crazy busy, or crowded, not busy. Not many people were there, but it was just so packed full of stuff. All right, here's something weird. This pack is super big, so I just want to show you comparatively. Right there. See that? This pack is really big compared to this pack. So, should we wait to this pack at the end? Guys, that pack is bigly. It's a big one. So, is there a full set in there? Is there a full set of elites? Could you imagine a full set of elites coming out of there? Or is it going to be the Dominator set, the full Dominator set? My money is on, even though I would love it to be elite, so my money is on it being the Dominator set. Which, if that was true, then that would be both 1 in 24 insert sets and 2 straight boxes, which seems really bizarre because I bought, both these boxes from the same seller. And for them both to have a pack like that in there seems to be very low odds. Here is a Diamond King that you would get both complete insert sets, 1 and 24 insert sets, and two straight boxes. So here is Tony Gwynn. It's a really nice card. Looks like Series 2 don't have the purples and a little bit of a different color pattern to the Diamond King, so that's cool. No press proof after the Diamond King, unlike a lot of our other packs where we saw the Diamond King and the press proof stuck together. Yeah, so it does specifically say on Baseball Cardpedia that you could get full insert Donruss Elite sets in Series 2, which I would love, but I just don't think my luck is that good to get a full full set. And it could just be a bunch of cards. You know, I've had that happen too, where I just like, oh, I got a fat pack, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, instead of 12 cards, it's 30 cards, and it's all base cards. And you just like got your hopes up for no real reason. The 90s were tough. They got your hopes up, and then they crushed them. They definitely, you know, just like my 95 finest box, I'll never get over with nothing in it. Went through the whole box, got nothing. You're just like, oh, there's going to be a couple refractors. Nope, you get nothing. You're going to like it. All right. All right. So we've hit the 1 in 24. So we have hit that. We have not hit, well, we've hit 2 press proofs, so that was above average. Still 1 Diamond King to hit our ratio. So no matter what, we're, you know, if there are inserts in that pack, we're going to be way above the ratios for what we thought we were going to get, because we're already above it on the press proofs, and then we already hit the 1 Dominators that we were supposed to get. So it's a lot of fun. Like, I mean, at least this product is delivering above expectations, and that's sort of like all you can really hope for, because, you know, you can't always guarantee the player you're going to hit, but when you don't get the ratios that you know that were promised, then it always feels very disappointing. Even if you don't hit, wow, another Griffey base card. That's the 3rd one of those. That's really crazy. So we got a nice big stack of cards here. Let's see. And so some of these packs do feel a little fuller. Like, I think that there's, if I were to count every time I open these, like, is there 12 cards, 13 cards? There might be some fluctuation in the amount of cards per pack. It just kind of feels that way. I don't know, if you get used to opening cards after a while, you kind of go, oh, this one feels like a heavy pack. Or it might be an extra card. Now we, you know, again, I think we need 1 more Diamond King. We'll be good on that. All right. But yeah, pretty excited to see what's in there, because we'll know right away, like, if it's amazing, the full elite set, or maybe just an elite, or is it just a bunch of base cards. And I've got my hopes up for no reason. I'm having a hard time with some of these packs. I don't know if it's just me being tired. Like I said, I just got back from San Diego. Another Diamond Kings checklist. Just, boo. Boo. Which I don't, hopefully that doesn't count as a Diamond King. Because that would be lame to have the checklist count. Just throwing cards around now. Alright, nothing there. Couple more packs and then we'll get to the fat guy. The fatty fat. Large Marge. Coming at you. The Pee-wee's Playhouse, or Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which I haven't seen that in so long. I want to go back and watch it, because I'm going back. I'm on a big nostalgia fest with movies, because my kids haven't seen a lot of the 90s stuff. So now when we have time on the weekends to just sit around and watch something together, I'm always trying to get them to watch something from the 90s. And so we just watched Tron, the original one. As cheesy as it is, it's still a fun movie to watch. So, you know, trying to get Back to the Future. And my youngest said it was a lame movie. She saw it with a friend. I'm like, wow, that hurts my heart. But we watched Jaws. I mean, we've started watching a lot of the 90s stuff, Blues Brothers. So I'm trying to indoctrinate him a little bit into the 70s, 80s, and 90s culture, you know, movies and stuff that I think were cool. Well, the last card in the box was Griffey. So maybe that's good luck. So here we go. The Fatty Fat. Definitely something's going on in this pack. We'll see what's going on here. Is it just a bunch of base? Am I just being overly optimistic? Something's going on. That's not normal looking cards. Alright, it is the Dominator set, guy. Yeah, it's the Dominator set. It's the full Dominator set. I guarantee it's the full Dominator set. There is 9 cards in that set. And they all have that protective film. So here we go. We got the full set. That's crazy. So we got Puckett, Paul O'Neill, and Tony Gwynn. So that's the back. Here's the front with the protective film. Here is, and see, they're even a little sticky, where I think they've been next to that protector for so long. So a little sticky. Next one's Cone, Messina, and Maddox. There you go. So I guess it's by position, so 9 positions. So here's catcher. So we got Ivan Rodriguez, Darren Dalton, and Mike Piazza. Here is first baseman. So we got Fred McGriff, Frank Thomas, and Jeff Bagwell. It's always one player you can't see because of the big sticker. All right, here is second baseman. So it's Alamar Baerga and Biggio. I should have predicted that one. Here is so it's Matt Williams, Ventura, and Fryman. So this is third base. Here is shortstops. Cal Ripken, Barry Larkin, and I'm assuming Will Cordero. Here is outfield. So this is Albert Bell, Barry Bonds, and Moses Alou. And here's the last one. I got our boy on it. Ken Griffey Jr., Kenny Lofton, and Marquise Grissom. So there it is. The full insert set there. I don't know why they put 2 extra cards in there. I guess to get 12, we needed the 2 extra cards. Very thick. And yeah, the full set. Which is crazy. We hit back-to-back full sets. I don't think we're supposed to do that. I don't think that's normal for you to do that. Now, the question here, because here's the Griffey, is peeling these. You know, I'm not going to try to do... I've had a lot of problems peeling 90s cards. You know, I've had them split in half trying to peel them because the peel is stuck so hard to the card now, it just, you know, it won't come off. So yeah, and it's very interesting how this set was made. I don't know how shiny it is, so I'd love to get the peel off at least one of the cards to see if it's real foily and shiny underneath. But you know, I don't see where it's like some cards from the 90s you can really tell like they meant for the peel to come off. Like you can really see, you know, like this would be a good one to try because it's not got a lot of big Hall of Famers on it. But like they kind of made it where, you know, you had a place to get purchase, you know, and get the film to come up. You know, this does not feel like that. This feels like you're going to have to really work at it to find a spot to get that peel to come up on, because you got to get it going somewhere, and you kind of got to work a spot and get that peel to, without damaging the card or the corner. Which, like I said, I've had a lot of bad experiences with this. So yeah, I'm not sure I'm gonna waste time trying to get it out. If these were like numbered and really low, really, like 97 finest gold or something, or 99 finest gold, like, I could see that being worth the effort to really get that card out and to peel off, to get a good grade. But man, they are definitely heavier, and they're made like the metal. I mean, you see in the back, they're like metallicized. They're a heavier card. You can see from the side profile, they're almost like plastic, like metallized plastic, if that makes sense. So the only thing they didn't do is, like, if they had made these shiny, like put a refractor shine to them, it would have been a really cool set. As it is, it's a lot different than other cards from the set. And they definitely were going for something grander than just a normal card. But I think shiny is always better. We'll just put it that way. And these kind of have a dull appearance to them. Like, and the other thing too is, like, they're not stamped, probably because of the type of material. Whereas the longbow leaders were shiny and had gold stamping. So, and that really helps, with that card shining, showing off. So I think the idea of this kind of composite card, where you've got a metallized plastic, kind of a card going on, I think they thought that was cool and revolutionary, enough that we don't need it to be, shiny or whatever. So there it is. That's all 9 of the Dominator set. Plus, we got the one in the actual box. Got a lot of Griffey base cards, which is great. So we got a Tony Gwynn, Diamond King, Manny Ramirez, press proof, Doug Drabeck, press proof, another Griffey. Here is the one we got earlier. So again, this could be our guinea pig card, but this is Ventura, Fryman, and Matt Williams. And then another Griffey, and then Kirby Puckett. So overall, like, if you look at Diamond Kings, in theory, we got 2, but I think these count as 1, honestly. Because it's DK29. So it's listed as a Diamond King. It's just lame to not only get 2, so we hit actually 4 Diamond Kings, which would have been above ratio, but 2 of them were checklists. So that's kind of a bummer. But we kind of made up for it, honestly, with the full set. So this is just, so the 2 boxes really definitely delivered on the insert experience, where you got a lot of cool inserts. In fact, we got 2 full sets. And if you go back to the to this set, here's the longbow leaders. Again, that stamping there looks really cool, very shiny. Then you've got this set. So 2 full insert sets out of 2 boxes. Pretty crazy, guys. 2 hot packs, 2 boxes. What can you do? But there it is, guys. That's the box break. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments. I'll see you next time in Cards and Comics. Bye.